Okay, here we go. The big question: Cyril Gahn or Derek Lewis? Yeah, like I talked about this, it's pretty simple, right? It's Cyril Gahn's either gonna win this fight by decision, or maybe a late stoppage, just because Derek Lewis is just so gassed, and maybe in that fourth or fifth round. But in my, I think Derek Lewis is probably coming in this fight the best shape of his life. So I don't know if that's going to happen, but um, I think Cyril Gahn either wins this fight by decision, or Derek Lewis knocks him out with just uh, an atomic blow like he did with Curtis Blades. So it basically comes down to that. Like I'm gonna talk about this with the Odds Jam demo video. Like, if you can set yourself up into a spot where you can have some, even if you have Cyril Gahn minus 330, and then Derek Lewis, Derek Lewis is at like plus 330. But at the same time, what are the chances? What are the realistic chances? One, that he wins the fight by decision. And don't get me wrong, he's won four of his 16 wins. He's won by decision, and I think his last, before the Blades fight, I think his two previous wins before that were decision wins. He I know he had a decision victory against Ilir Latifi, and then what's his name, Blagnoy Ivanov. Um, yeah, so but those weren't 5-round fights, also. Um, but yeah, he does win by decision. But I think Cyril Gahn wins this by decision, or Lewis knocks him out. If you think about it, there's no real chance, obviously, of Lewis winning this fight by decision. There's like a 10% chance, if that, maybe less. And then there's no real chance of him, Derek Lewis winning by submission, in on like maybe a less than a 5% chance of something crazy happening and him winning by submission. So I think you can honestly set yourself up where you can go like, you can get like plus 450 on Derek Lewis to win by KO TKO, and you still have that minus 330 ticket on Cyril Gahn. But even like, this is kind of a stretch, but I think Cyril Gahn probably wins this by decision, and that's like a plus 200. So you're talking about on one side plus 450, and then on the other side plus 200. But honestly, I've done this before and got burned with the Adesanya Blachowicz fight, where I was, super. I was saying, it's either going to be Izzy by decision or Blachowicz knocks him out, and what do you know happened? Blachowicz won by decision. So this isn't something that I would say, it's not a for sure. It's not a guaranteed win. It's not an arbitrage or anything like that. You're leaving yourself open to get middled if you if Cyril Gahn wins by TKO, which I think is possible if he ends up gassing Lewis out in that fourth or fifth round. But like I said, I think Derek Lewis is probably coming into this fight the best shape he's ever been in. But yeah, the two fights that Gahn was in that were 5-round fights against Rosenstruck and Volkov both went the distance, right? And he does have, I think his first two wins in the UFC were by submission. I think Dontel Mays, he got him in like a heel hook, and then also I forget who the other one was, but it was like a standing triangle. C. Oliveira Sadie. Do I think over 4.5 is a good bet? Yeah, I do. Let me see. Let me see here, because the market has moved quite a bit. Over 4.5 rounds plus 155. Yeah, I mean, wow, the market's moved quite a bit. Over 2.5 rounds is sitting right now at minus 117. And like that's I think Cyril Gahn, if he same goes with him, if he ends up getting caught, I think it'll be in those later rounds. Over 2.5 rounds, I think, is a very solid play. And this is one thing I don't like. I don't like. Sometimes I like to come to these types of fights uh, ahead of time. We do the look ahead every Saturday night after the post show, but uh, this isn't. It's like I have a ticket for over 4.5 rounds at plus 130, and now it's over 4.5 rounds is at like plus 155 some places, and I couldn't get 2.5 back then. A month ago, the only the only market that was out was the 4.5 rounds, but over 2.5 rounds, that's and I don't want to double up now, but this is one of those instances where with this fight specifically, the look ahead spot kind of hurt me because I have the over, and I have Gahn and Gahn in a parlay, and yeah, I really like over 2.5 rounds minus 117. That's a solid look. Even let's like fight starts round 2 at minus 285. That's a solid look. Fight starts round 3 at minus 140. That's a solid look. Gahn has gone over the betting total in 5 of his 6 fights. So even in the 2 fights, even in the 3 fights that he won inside the distance, two of them went over the betting total. Personally, I think Lewis Dog is a great opportunity for winning. Should it be plus 383? Well, that's the thing, man. He even if you go back and look at Curtis Blades, I bet him and he was like plus 390, but that's a different story because Curtis Blades is a wrestle heavy fighter, right? Cyril Gahn is not going to be shooting in for any takedowns. I don't think, unless he really hurts Lewis and Lewis just doesn't drop. And he ends up doing like what he did in that first fight with like the standing head and arm choke or whatever. Or even that heel hook, there's a chance for that if he ends up hurting him, or if Lewis is just completely gassed in like the 4th or 5th round or something like that. But honestly, I don't disagree that at plus 380 on the money line, Derek Lewis has value. That's true. But on this fight, at this point, I think that's the problem too. Gone by decision plus 200. I like that, but it's dangerous, right? You're talking about heavyweights in a 5-round fight. It means it's a big fight. It's probably the biggest fight of both of these guys' lives. So having that decision prop in a big fight like this is you're going to sweat from beginning to end. That's why, like I said, I really like that over 2.5 rounds in this fight. And I think Cyril Gahn is a good parlay piece, but you're not really getting the best of the number, even across like the whole board. I see minus 350 as the best price right now in Cyril Gahn. So the best value is gone as far as that goes. But maybe some money will come in on Derek Lewis closer to fight week. All right. So yeah, as far as how that fight goes, like I said, I think that Gane is gonna just be fleet of foot. He's gonna stick and move. He's gonna I don't think he's gonna be as aggressive as we saw him in that Volkov fight. He's gonna be much more conservative, like how that fight against Jairzinho Rosenstrike was. He's gonna be active on the feet, but he's not going to he's not going to he's going to be very conservative, but also just efficient. He's not going to throw and miss very much, and I feel like his game plan is kind of going to be to use Lewis's winging shots and him throwing and missing against him. And if that happens, I think Lewis, the tide, it will turn quickly if very similar to that fight, to a lesser extent obviously, but very similar to the fight that I talked about with Ed Herman. As the fight goes on, Derek Lewis gets exponentially less dangerous, right? But he has that game changer, that eraser in his hand. So but even if you go and look at the Nagano fight, right? Like he's that atomic bomb in his hand isn't there as much as it's there through the whole fight. But like I also said, he's probably coming into this fight the best the best shape of his life. Like I said, this is probably the biggest. It definitely is. It's the biggest fight of both of these guys' lives. So I think Lewis is, he fought for the title before against Daniel Cormier, but I remember not very. That was kind of, I forget, Cormier was supposed to fight somebody else, and Lewis came in on short notice. But I remember him having won a fight right before that, and them asking him who do you want to fight? Who do you want to fight next? Or do you feel like you're in line for a title shot? And he was just like, I don't want a title shot. Are you kidding? Look at me. And he's not that guy anymore. I think he's coming out there. He wants that belt, right? So he's taking it seriously now. He's invested I feel like if he's tied for most knockouts in the UFC, if he ends up notching this knockout, he's talking like Hall of Fame worthy career, So yeah.